really look at the macro trends in digital media as it applies specifically to your industry. We did a benchmark report really looking at how digital media, how technologies, how social media is being used in the industry above and beyond marketing and branding. 4 years ago, when I was at an AEM event, we were really talking about digital media for company awareness, how to integrate digital media with your marketing and branding strategies to drive sales and, again, awareness. Today, we are still talking about that, but we've advanced much further and really have found that there are opportunities to integrate digital media in almost every aspect of the supply chain and every aspect of your business, not just to drive marketing and awareness, but to drive efficiencies and bottom line productivities. So what we're going to do today, as I mentioned, is look at those macro trends, but then really spend some time together looking for your opportunities or learning about, if you're already savvy, how you're using digital media today. I'm going to leave you with a practical implementation strategy so that if you do hear anything today that you'd like to try on in your own organization, you're prepared and know how to tactically go and do that. And we'll close by talking about how to stay safe in the social sphere and in the digital sphere. I know we spend a lot of time, the individuals in this room spend a lot of time thinking about safety and how to keep the people that are safe on your teams. So I want to do that today too, but in the digital sphere. And we'll hop right in. Because you can tell that I'm shy and I don't like to share a lot about myself, I thought I'd start with a personal story. Again, thank you all so much for coming to a session on digital media. In 2011, the month before I broke my leg and came to my last AEM event, I was feeling a little overwhelmed from building a couple startups and maybe not going on a vacation in 3 years or so. So I told my husband, I call him Normal Neil, he's always very balanced, he's the exact opposite of very balanced. I said, we got to get out of here and go on a vacation, like clear your schedule right now, we're out of here. And 3 days later, we left for Kauai, a very small island in Hawaii. We had a great couple first days, very relaxing, exactly what I was expecting. And the night prior to our departure, we came up from the pool at about 9:30 p.m., and Anderson Cooper was on the TV talking about the horrible tsunami that was sweeping Sendai. And we could see in real time in Japan, mothers and daughters. Do you guys remember this footage of the helicopters hovering over and moms and daughters? And I'm thinking, my gosh, I work in digital media. We're close enough to see these people and we can't save them. I've got goosebumps. This is horrible. And I mentioned I had just come up from the jacuzzi and wanted to rinse off. So I, went about my business not thinking, I'm in the middle of the ocean and these waves are coming here. So Normal Neil, my overly calm husband, comes into the bathroom and says, hey, hon, Anderson Cooper just said this tsunami's coming to Kauai. And I said, coming or warning? What are you talking about? He said, no, it's coming. At about 3 in the morning, we're going to be hit with waves. And what Anderson Cooper has said, that Kauai, the little unknown island of Kauai, will be the indicator for how large these wave strengths will be when they hit the U.S. It's coming. So I'm going to take a nap because I want to be rested if we have to swim. I was like, what? And this guy laid down and went to sleep. Okay, so note, first exchange was Anderson Cooper on the TV. Second exchange was face-to-face with my husband. He lays down, starts snoring, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need information. I forgot to tell you 2 things. One, I am at the St. Regis Hotel, which is lovely, but if you've been there in Kauai, it is on the edge of the cliff looking at the ocean. And Anderson Cooper saying, if you're in Hawaii and you can see the ocean, you're too close, you've got to go somewhere. Yeah, well, I have nowhere to go. The other thing I forgot to tell you is I'm 37, and I'm really fortunate to have both of my grandmothers alive and well, one in Youngstown, Ohio, the other in Poughkeepsie. And I'm from Youngstown, by the way. I don't admit that often, but it seems appropriate here. They're alive and well, and they make me call them every time I land, and they're going to start freaking out as soon as they learn that I'm in Kauai on the edge of the ocean with the tsunami coming. So I have to get more information before I call my grandmas and settle them down. So I go to websites, local websites, and start looking at what people are saying about the geography in Kauai. Where's the highest point? I go to blogs where people are really giving safety instructions, locals that have been through things like this before. I posted on Facebook to my brothers and sisters that I love them, which then caused mass panic because everybody thought that I was going to die. I guess I don't do that enough. What finally really helped me to make a decision, other than calling a few people that were in the mainland that were giving me some good, accurate reports, is this blog said, "Hey, Carissa," didn't say my name, but I felt like it was speaking directly to me. The highest point in Kauai is the St. Regis. It's on a place called Queens Bluff. If you can get to Queens Bluff by 3 a.m., get there. It's the safest place that you can be. So other than requiring some wine that the hotel sent me when I was asking them at what point the helicopters would come to the golf course to remove us all, I made my decision and I called my grandmas and I told them, hey, there's a tsunami coming. You're going to see when you wake up, but it's going to be okay. I'm at the highest point. There's nowhere for us to go. We're going to be great. And long story short, we were so blessed, and we got an extra couple days of vacation. All the roads were washed out. We were stuck there, and we were just fine. And our hearts and thoughts are obviously with the people that didn't have that experience in Japan. But here's the point for our story. I made my decision, that's literally me making my decision, not just through one medium, not through what Anderson Cooper told me. Oh, there's Anderson Cooper. That's David Beckham, not my husband, but this is my speech, so I just figured. Not what my husband told me, not what the newspaper was saying, not what I learned on the phone, not what the blog said, but I made my decision through multiple different mediums. And I really can't tell you which medium was more important. And today, this is how our customers and our prospects are making decisions. They're using a million different mediums, starting sometimes with what we tell them face-to-face, but oftentimes a customer today is 60% through the buying cycle by the time they talk to us for the first time because of all of these mediums that exist online and the amount of information that they can gather. It's changing the way that we make decisions. So I would like to challenge everyone in the room today to ask yourself how this evolution of communication and the way that people are making decisions and the amount of information that's readily available to them is impacting your industry, your personal role, your organization, and what opportunities it creates for us. So apologies for the long personal story, but truly it sets the stage for the way that we digest mediums today and make decisions. And I'd love for you to carry that with you through the rest of our conversations and challenge yourself to really be accountable to communicating where your target audience is today. And if that's in 7 different places, then I'm going to challenge you to be in 7 different places at once. But I'll give you some implementation and tool techniques so that that doesn't sound overbearing before we leave. So, the evolution of communication isn't new. If we think about this new digital media, and I was teasing you earlier with swear words like Facebook and Twitter, and I don't say those words. I don't like to say that I'm in social media. Sure, I'm a social media practitioner, but what we're really talking about is just communication, the evolution of communication. We've seen this with all major mediums. We saw it with TV, we saw it with the internet, we saw it, with broadcasting long ago. It seems like as a new media is introduced and becomes really productive, it almost starts to cannibalize other aspects of the industry. This isn't new. It becomes its own industry. So that's really what we're seeing right now. But again, the question is, what's the impact to you and what's it really mean? So let's have some fun. Who can define social media without using any of those swear words? How could you define social media if you're not allowed to say technology, you're not allowed to say online, you're not allowed to say LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, none of those words. I don't want to hear them. What is social media? Anyone willing to tolerate me? And by the way, I'm going to ask for 2 actors in just a couple minutes, so if anyone's feeling really bold, get ready, because I need some help today. Can't do this on my own. I just can't. Internet, if you have to. Yes. Absolutely. So to get in touch with your friends and associates in a way that's really difficult to do in the real world. I mean, we can only talk to so many people a day face to face, but you can reach a lot of people and really hurdle geographic or even organizational borders and break down silos in that way. Awesome. Anyone else have a good idea of what social media is if you're not allowed to use swear words? Interconnect people. Awesome. Very good. So we're really talking about communication. When I define social media, I really think of it as an open dialogue marketplace where there's been a shift and a reallocation of authority away from just companies or one individual that's an influencer that's speaking. That speaker does not like my voice there. To really a two-way dialogue where the individual has just as much authority as the brand and the ability to speak and speak loudly and reach a lot of people. We also find that people use social media for three main reasons. And that tends to be for education, to seek for information or to learn about something, for entertainment, to connect with a friend, as you mentioned, maybe look at a picture of someone's new grandchild, and then also for collaboration, to really work with others that are like them or not like them, and to collaborate and push ideas forward. And these are oftentimes the three reasons that we see people use social or digital media. The reason I take the time to share that with you is so that if you decide to use social media or are using it today in your business, you can think about how your customers or prospects or internal employees, if you want to use it internally, are using social media today, and then look to serve them content in one of those large umbrellas: education, collaboration, or entertainment. So I mentioned that we did a benchmark report on the state of social media in the agricultural and manufacturing equipment industry. And we found some really interesting things. We found that today, digital media is being used to sell, to, as you mentioned, connect with people, both professionally and personally, but to connect with individuals pre-sale, post-sale, to increase the relationship, even increase the overall size of a contract. We're also seeing a ton of implementation in operation efficiencies. We're looking at individuals that may have a question about how to use something when it comes to training, for example, or a new customer that has a really exciting experience with a new tractor and wants to be able to talk about it. We're watching people implement digital to drive efficiencies in other areas as well. And one place that might really be relevant for a number of individuals in the room is recruitment. One of the things that people look for in digital media is humanism. They want to talk to other people. They don't really want to talk to a brand. And they have the ability to talk to people, as we've just talked about, and they're demanding. So using that humanism, as we'll see in a case study that we'll look at in a little bit, in recruitment campaigns through social media, and is an amazing way to meet new candidates, introduce them to your organization, and onboard them. Is anybody using social media in any ways, whether it be marketing and branding or other business strategy ways that you want to share with us today to help put a little color to this benchmark study that we did? If not, that's okay. I'll pick on you in a minute. I can go Bueller, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? I did this the other day. Nobody answered, and I went Bueller, and I was at a university, and nobody knew what I was talking about. Everybody just stared at me, and I went, oh, wow. All right, moving on. Anyway, so what this means, as we've just talked about, is it's changing the way that we make decisions. And it's really making an impact in a number of different areas of our business. In the research that we did, I just wanted to take a minute really quickly to walk you through some of what we found. We found that at a shop manager level, individuals are oftentimes using digital media for safety reasons, really to promote, whether it be via video or text, a lot of different safety initiatives, which is interesting to see. We also saw, as I mentioned, a lot of prospecting and sales going on. And one thing that we just saw a ton of is training, both internal training and customer training. That seems to be a very strong trend in the industry with social and digital media. And we'll get further into all of this as we move on. I kind of went ahead of myself a little bit earlier. and talking about how digital media is changing the decision-making process. But let's elaborate just a little bit. Anyone here used to make cold calls? I made cold calls for like 15 years on the phone, right? Prospect never heard of you. Hi, my name's Carissa. I know I caught you off guard. May I please have 1 minute of your time? Here's your pain point. Here's how I can help you. Can I have an appointment to come in? No. All right, well, you have to say no 5 times before you're going to say yes. I know that no is just an objection for more information, so let me tell you more. Remember that? That was fun. I still think there's a place for cold calling. I know a lot of people don't, but I don't think that cold calling's dead. It's just that today, oftentimes, by the time we make that cold call, again, the individual has been through so much of this decision-making process.